Hi there, I'm Erin. Today we're going to take a look at the wrists. A lot of times people will have some nagging pain or injuries surrounding the wrists once you're on the hands a lot. So what we're going to do is try to create some strength in the hands and forearms as well as some stretching so that we can have some maintenance for them. Okay, so let's go ahead and come on down. Go ahead and tuck your toes under. Why not get a little foot stretch going at the same time. Come to sit with your bum right on your heels, nice and tall, okay? And we're simply gonna start to roll the wrists around. Nothing too fancy, just getting some motion going. Nice big circles. And from there, just switch up the direction. Really feel through it. And then let's clasp the hands. And again, nothing real structured, just warming things up, taking them around. You can start to make some waves. Again, nothing serious here, just moving. Nice and fluid. And then keep the hands interlaced, and let's press the palms forward. Pull the shoulders down the back. Keep pulling them down, and then slowly start to lift the hands up overhead. So we're getting nice and long. Again, my tailbone's rooting, and then I'm growing long, pressing up through my palms, really stretching out this area here. Make sure you're not shrugging the shoulders. Pull them down the back, and then simply release. All right, let's come on to all fours here. Okay, so my knees are right under my hips here. My wrists, elbows, and shoulders are stacked up, okay? And let's talk about the hand setup here for a moment. I don't want my fingers really close because then I don't have much surface area to support myself, okay? So let's take the fingers a little wider, all right? And then we want this slight external rotation, and it comes from the shoulder, but it'll be visible in the hand. So that middle finger is ever so slightly turned out there, okay? And then we want to energize our hands. We don't want them dead, just sinking into the mat. So I want you to start to feel as if you could grip the mat, almost as if you're trying to scrunch up your mat under your hands. And you'll notice that my middle knuckle here even lifts a little bit, okay? To some degree, you're maintaining that, not squeezing all out the whole time, but keeping a little bit of action there in the hand, okay? And then all I want you to do is simply start to shift your weight forward and back. Just linear for now. And keep the heel of the hand rooted as you shift that weight. Okay, and then just come back to neutral. Everything's stacked up again. From there, let's start to lift the palm and lower. And notice that my shoulders are staying right over top of my hand. I'm not sinking back or else I lose that work we're trying to get here, okay? So you're lifting and lowering. You should start to feel this, firing up the forearms a little bit. Keep plugging the shoulders in, no dumping there. Okay, just a few more there, creating some heat. And release the hands. Okay, and now we'll take the fingers to face the sides of the mat. Okay, same idea. We want some action in the hands. Okay, and then from there, let's just start to make some circles. Again, keeping the hands rooted, not lifting one or the other up as you roll around here. You can just switch up the direction. Take it the opposite way. Rolling. And from there, let's take the fingertips all the way back. If that feels like a little too much today, no problem. Keep them out to the side, not a big deal, okay? If you're shooting them all the way back, let's make sure we have a little softness in the elbow, so I'm not locking out, just a little softness. Again, I'm making sure I'm not lifting the palm, the heel of my hand, I'm pressing it into the mat. And from there, keeping that slight bend, grip of the ground, heel of the palm rooted, I start to shift my weight back just slightly towards my heels. If the hands start to pop up, we've gone too far. So you want to go to that point where you're getting a little bit of sensation, not pain by any means, just some sensation and stretching there. Keep breathing. And then bring the weight back directly over. From there, let's take a few cat-cows in this position. So we'll drop the belly, lift the hips, and then as we exhale, draw it all in. Inhale, we open up, pull the heart through the shoulders. Exhale, round it out. And again, you're maintaining that slight softness in the elbows as you go through the motion. One more big inhale. Exhale all the air out. And come on back to neutral. Go ahead and sit back on the heels a moment. Shake the hands out. Okay? And now we're going to make fists. All right? So I want you to really tuck those thumbs around the hands. We're not going to let them open. Keep them tight. And then put the back of the knuckles together. Okay? From here, we're going to take these right under our sternum. Okay? And again, don't let the fingers go. Elbows are pointing out to the side to begin with, and then I start to straighten through the arms. And if you're like me, you'll feel this right away. I'm kind of tight. I may not get a ton of motion here, but I'm working towards straight. And again, when you start to feel that in the back of the arm there, you just breathe into it. Don't let those hands go, or I totally lose that stretch. Okay, keep the weight right over top of the hands. Keep breathing. And let that go. Shake it out. Roll it out. Let's go ahead and just add a little vinyasa here for a bit of movement. We're going to take an inhale, reach the arms up, grow tall. Exhale, hinge forward. Take an inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands. Stay there a moment. Remember what we just talked about. Start to grip the ground. Find some strength to support those wrists. And then let's just tippy-toe it back until you get into a high plank. From there, take an inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Take a little cobra to open up. And pull it on back to your down dog. And very briefly, we'll just set up this down dog. Again, gripping the ground with the hands. Start to hug the forearms together. Find that spiral out of the shoulders that we already talked about. From your armpit to your hip crease, get long, find length. Start to fire up the front of your legs. So engage those quads so you can press back into the heels. Okay, from there, we're going to take the right hand and we're going to flip it around again. Now, you may line up wrist crease to wrist crease if you have the space. If that feels like a little too much, walk the hand back to your degree. Okay? Same idea. I'm not letting the hand lift. I'm really pressing it into the mat. And from there, just taking a few breaths. Flip that right hand around to the normal position, we'll call it. And let's switch and take that left hand, point it back. Don't lock the elbow, little softness. Press the heel of the hand in, and then pull those hips back. Go ahead and flip that hand right back around. Start to squeeze that mat again. Lift high on the toes. Let's tippy-toe it back up. Starting to stack the hips as you go until you reach the top of your mat. Take an inhale. Find that long back, reaching from tailbone to crown of the head. And exhale, just fold. Go ahead and lift the feet, and we're going to slide the hands underneath the feet, okay? So my palms are facing up. My toes are trying to get all the way up to my wrist crease, okay? We're not quite as worried about the hamstring stretch here today, so don't worry if you're not going really deep. What I want you to do is more kind of wiggle your toes and feet on your hands and give yourself almost like a self-massage. Okay, so you're just distributing your weight from side to side or wiggling the toes. Again, no real structure here. And then go ahead and come back to the center. And all I want you to do is try to pull your hands out from your feet, but don't allow them to come out. So the action is I'm trying to pull my hand out, but my foot is pressing down and compressing, and just giving a little traction there on the wrists. Okay, you can go ahead and release that. Shake those hands out. Take an inhale to find your long spine again. Exhale, fold it down, and then reach on up. We'll take it back down to the mat here, okay? And I want you to find your fingertips this time, okay? So we're really like hollowing out and cupping the ground with our hands here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my hands right under my shoulders again, but I'm staying up on those fingertips. Walk the knees back so that they're under your hips, okay? And I just want you to squeeze, 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 and then release a little bit. Squeeze the ground so you can't see a lot, but there's a lot of action going on here. And then release a bit. And then squeeze the ground. You can stay here just having all this action going on. If you'd like, you could step one foot back and then the other foot back, coming into your high plank, squeezing the ground. Totally fine if you want to just stick on the knees for today. Couple breaths. And lower down if you lift it up. Come on back to the heels again. Let's tuck the toes just like we began. Shake it out. Let them just swing around. All right? And we'll interlace again. Let's go ahead and try to switch the lacing so the opposite thumb's on top. It's usually the way that feels a little awkward is what we do second. Press those palms out. Pull the shoulder blades down the back. Start lifting up again. You can take a little side bend here if it feels good. Again, continue to press out through the hands, lifting and going the opposite way. And release that. Go ahead and cross the legs. And we're just gonna roll on down to our back here. Okay, my feet are hip width parallel, about a hand's width distance from the bum. We're just gonna come up into a bridge here for a brief second. I want you to really walk those shoulder blades down under you and interlace those hands for just a moment, okay? So the hands are really close and we're gonna let go of that lacing and press the palms flat on the mat. Try to keep those thumb tips touching so they're in the center. And then I want you to lower your hips and your bum right down on your wrists, okay? And just let that weight totally rest on the wrists, giving them some pressure, a little bit of compression. If that feels like enough, you can stay. If you'd like, you can simply lift the legs. You can just kind of wiggle from one side to the other. Set those feet down. Just lift the hips so you can sneak those arms back out and roll on up. That's it. Thanks for joining me.